Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Magistral Latine et Graecae, where I and Maureen will be taking you through more translations. Today we've got Amores 1.3, to get stuck into some more Ovid. So, there we go. We can start with the first sentence. Justa precor. It's an easy, tiny bit for us. Precor is the verb to pray for. These are colours I normally use. I said that last time. No, it's not. Because I changed them for my schoolwork. Precor, to pray. Now this is a deponent. It's not passive. So we're not saying it is pray. Well, it's or. So that's I. We're not saying I am prayed. That'll be a bit weird. So this has an active meaning. It's indicative, present, first person, singular. I pray. And of course we're talking about Ovid here, because he's the one that is supposedly narrating all of this. Not narrating. Yes, narrating. Well, he's talking about his persona of himself. I pray, or pray for, as I've put in the brackets. What does he pray for? Justa, justice. This is from justum, it's second declension neuter. So it can be accusative plural. So I pray for justice or justices. Quaemen nuper praedata puella est, aut amet, aut faciat. Faciat does not have a word on, to make. Cur ego semper amem. And we've even got an exclamation mark at the end, which Ovid did not put there, because the punctuation has been added in by whoever edited this text. But we are thankful for the people who edited the text and put the punctuation in, because it would be confusing for us otherwise. So, find a verb, and I've underlined praedata and est, and I haven't put a meaning on est. And you might think, oh, we all know what est means by now, but that's not why. It's because Ovid has separated the praedata and est, but they actually go together to make the verb. So, if we take these two together, draw a line between them, we can see that when it has the est on, it's passive. And because it's est, it's indicative. It's not a subjunctive ending. That would be like sim, sis, sit. And because it's, because it's got like praedata and it's not like precor, because precor is deponent, but it looks passive. So we know it's not, it's from praedo. So if it was present, it would be praedor. But it's not, it's praedata est. So we know that it's perfect. If my pen will start writing again. There we go. And it's third person singular. So, someone is taken as prey. Was taken as prey, because it's perfect, or has taken. And we need to find the nominative for this. And you can see at the start, you might be thinking, well, we have a quae, we've got like a little relative clause here. So you'd think, oh, that's a bit long. There, you'd think it would go like that. And you think, well, what would the subject be? Because there's not anything like outside here. And that's because the puella, which is the nominative here, has been attracted into the relative clause. So the puella actually can be translated all the way back here. So the girl, quae, and quae is nominative singular, feminine. So the girl who has taken me, because we have me, which is accusative singular. Yeah, so the girl has taken, and then me is the accusative singular, has taken me as prey, still on the praedata, and then nuper, recently. So the girl who has recently taken me as prey, or praedo can also mean to plunder. So you could say who has recently made me her plunder or something. Then we have two outs. My pen. I'm still leaking the battery out, just so you know. So two out, so we've got either or. So either amet. Now this is a subjunctive. And it's a present subjunctive. And it's active, which I usually put before. And it's third person singular. And it's the type of subjunctive it is a yussive subjunctive. So it's like when you're, giving an order. So it's saying, instead of being like something like she may love me or something, it's let her love me. It's sort of like an order, or that's the best way I feel like I can describe it. So let the girl, who has recently made me her prey, either love, and then we go back to the meh back here, me, or the other out, fakiat. And fakiat is also a yussive subjunctive, and this is active subjunctive present third person singular again. Let her make cur ego semper amem, and it sounds a bit confusing. Make why. Ego is a nominative, I, nominative singular, and then amem, another subjunctive. Active subjunctive present first person singular, and it's a subjunctive here because it's why I should always love her. It's an indirect question, because he's asking this in like this. He's not directly saying why should I always love her. He's saying let her make why I should always love her. So it's indirect. And you're probably thinking, what the hell does make why mean? And it means give me a reason why I should always love her. Ooh, sorry. I can totally speak. Animium volui. Easy. Just means He's exclaiming like, oh, alas, oh no. And then we go to the verb again, volui. This is active indicative. There we go. Perfect first person singular. So we've got a lot of first person singulars with Ovid referring to himself. And he's not doing the royal we that we've seen a lot of the times. He's using I. And we even have like an ego here to emphasise it's really himself. Anyway, back to the sentence I'm on. Volui, I wanted, or maybe I have wanted, nimium, too much. That's the accusative singular. So he thinks he's asked for too much by saying for her to love him, or to give him a reason why he should love her. And then we have tantum patiata amare. Patiata, to endure, from patio, which is also deponent. And this is the subjunctive, present, third person singular. So we've got another yussive subjunctive. Let her endure, because we're still talking about the girl here, his mistress. Tantum. Now we've seen tantus a lot, which is like so great, but tantum, when it's like in the neuter, can mean only. So let her only endure amare. Amare is from amo, and it's the passive infinitive, the passive present infinitive, so to be loved. Let her only endure to be loved. Audierit nostras tot cytherea preces. Audierit is the verb, and this can be two things. This could either be the active subjunctive perfect third person singular, or it could be the active indicative, future perfect, third person singular. So it can be, let her have heard. Let her have heard. Or let someone have heard. And the future perfect would be, it will have been heard. So that, like, we don't really know which one it is. So you can take either. There are lots of debates on it. The nominative is Cytherea, which is Venus, because the place, the island Cythera, was sacred to Venus or her Greek counterpart Aphrodite. So Cytherea, or Venus, so you can say will have heard for the future perfect, or you could say Venus, so may Venus have heard. Then we have nostras preces, they go together. They are the accusative plurals. My pen is literally having a breakdown today. There we go. Our prayers. And Ovid is using our, again, to mean him. It sort of feels a bit more distant. And then we have tot, so many. I can fit that in. So many prayers. My so many prayers. So let Cytherea, or Venus, here have heard my many prayers, or Cytherea will have heard my many prayers. So we're saying, like, so he's either saying, I want Venus to hear my prayers of, like, making her love me, or giving her reason, or only enduring to love. We're talking about the girl here, not letting Venus love him. Or it could mean, if the girl only endures to be loved by him, then Venus will have heard all of his prayers. So pick whichever one you want, or pick both. Akipe per longos tibi qui deserviat annos. Really can't speak today. Akipe, right at the start of the line. Lovely. This is an imperative, an active present imperative. So it's just an order. Except. And then here we need to imply an aeum, except him. Otherwise it won't quite make sense. So except, and then we have another verb here. Deserviat. To serve, from deservio. And this takes a dative, like to be in, because it used to mean, it was used quite commonly to be enslaved to. So here Ovid is sort of implying that being in love is like being a slave to someone. So this is the active indicative, it's not indicative, active subjunctive, present third person singular. You can tell I'm quite tired today, but maybe I say that every time. Yeah, I do say that every time. I'm well aware. I'm always tired. He will, no, it's not future. He serves, or he is enslaved to. And then we have a qui. That's a nominative, singular. And that's why we have the aeum, except someone, him, who, qui, may serve, subjunctive, or be enslaved, tibi, to you, dative, singular, per longus annos. These go together, and they're both accusative plural because of the per, because that takes accusative plural, the preposition. So through long years. So except he who may serve you or be a slave to you through the long years. Accipe qui pura norit amare fide. We have accipe again, so we've got some repetition here. This is again the active present imperative. So except, imply an aeum again. He, qui, we've got the same sort of layout, don't we? He, who, and then we have norit as the verb. This is from Nosco, and I have written something. It is contracted from nowerit. So this is the active subjunctive perfect third person singular. So he knew. Except him who knows or has known, because perfect is sort of like, you know, you finish the action, made, you have made, you know, to make something. Yeah, you know, you get it. You may not get it, but trust. Imperfect, you've like finished the action, whereas in imperfect, the action is still ongoing. So like he has known, you can say. So a person who has known, amare, that's from amo. So this is the active present infinitive, to love, or maybe we could say how to love to make it a bit less clunky. Pura fide. These are both ablative singulars with absolute faith. I'll repeat these two lines. Except him or a man who may serve you through the long years. Except him who has known how to love with absolute faith. Si me non veterum commendant magna parentum nomina, si nostri sanguinis aucter eques. This is long. I'll just do those two lines for now. Si, if. Lovely. Commendant. That is the verb, which is active, indicative, present, third person singular. They recommend. And who recommend? Nomina, magna. Great names. These are the nominative plurals. Nomina from nomen, neuter. So great names recommend, and then we look towards the start of the sentence and see it says non. Great names do not recommend me. And then we think, what we're meant to do with the veterum parentum, and you look at parentum and you think, ah yes, that comes from parens, which is third declension, I believe. Yes, it is. And you think, yes, the on the end would be genitive plural. So these two are genitive plural going together. The lines are getting a bit confusing now, aren't they? So of ancient ancestors. And you might think parens would usually mean parents. And yes, you typically use it for that, but it just sort of means someone in your family who's sort of above you. So it can mean ancestors. Ancestors, parents, yeah. Ancient ancestors. So the great names, if the great names of ancient ancestors do not recommend me. So he's saying, if I don't have really famous ancestors that are super well known by everyone, then we have si nostri sanguinis aucter eques, if, and we don't seem to have a verb here, so we will imply one. Let's find the nominative then. We have auctor, which could be a nominative, and we also have eques, which can be nominative. So we're going to take auctor as our like subject. So the author, if the author, then we have nostri sanguinis, which goes together, and that's genitive plural. Of our blood, And of course, Ovid's talking about himself, so he's meaning of my blood, so of my like bloodline. So if the author of my bloodline, then we're going to imply an est here, is eques, of the equestrian rank, or you could translate it as a knight. It's just like a type of rank in the Roman society. And here he's saying, like, if like the person who founded my bloodline, the person, if he was only like an equestrian rank, like if he was merely that and not higher, because he's pretending to put himself down here. He's saying, oh, I'm not actually that great, but like, will you still love me despite this? I'll repeat that. If great names of ancient ancestors do not recommend me, if the author of my blood or bloodline was of the equestrian rank, nec meus innumerus renovater campus aratris temperat et sumptus parcus uterque parens, and not nec renovator, that is the verb. So that is passive from renovo, indicative, present, third person singular. So it is renewed. What is renewed? Campus, land. So that's the nominative singular. And that goes with meus. Selected the page. Oh, okay, no, it's fine. Meus campus. If my land is nec renovata, is not renewed, innumerus aratris, they go together. They are both ablative plurals, with or by countless plough. They are not renewed by countless ploughs. So he doesn't have loads of ploughs to renew his land, probably quite costly to plant new crops and make things grow well in his land. Temperat et sumptus parcus uterque parens. Parens here is meaning parent. So we have temperat. And you might think, why does it say temperat et? And that's because it's a bit weird to have the verb here, isn't it? And not in this part, there's no verb. And that's because the et, he's just put it in a funky order. So we're saying and temperat, that is active, indicative, present, third person singular. It controls, from temporo. And the nominative is uterque parens. Each parent, their nominative singular. So each parent controls. We have parcus as well, which goes with that. Each thrifty parent, that's nominative singular too. Each thrifty parent, and he's talking about his own parents. So you could say each of my thrifty parents controls, and then sumptus is a fourth declension noun. So this can be accusative plural, meaning expenses or spending. So each of my thrifty parents controls my their spending. So he's saying they don't just throw out money on whatever. They're not super rich. We have to be careful with our money. At Phoebus comitesque noem vitisque reperto hac faciunt et me qui tibi donat amor. At is but. And then we look, and we find the verb on the next line. Faciunt. They make. Or be active, as I put in brackets. So this is active, indicative, present, third person singular. Plural, not third person singular. they make, or be active. And we need to find, you would think, a plural subject. And you look through and you think, and there's commentaries. And you think that could be nominative plural. And then you look on the end and it says que, and. Thinking, there must be more than one subject. So we've got Phoebus here, nominative singular, quite obvious from the us and him being in the second declension. Comitesque, that's nominative plural. Phoebus and his companions. Then we have novem, which goes with comites, his 9 companions. And here we are talking about the muses. And then we have vitisque repertor, and the repertor, that's the nominative singular. Vitis, which is from vitis, third declension, but this one is genitive singular, the inventor of the vine. And here we're talking about like the vine that, grapes and wine comes forth from. So we're talking about Bacchus here, and his Greek equivalent would be Dionysus. So these people, Phoebus, his 9 companions, and the inventor of the wine, they do this. They make this. They are active. And hack. That's ablative singular, isn't it? So in this. So they are active in this. So they're like helping him with this. And how are they helping him with this? You think Phoebus, Apollo, he's the god of poetry, isn't he? And his 9 companions, the muses, they preside over a lot. Some of them preside over poetry as well, and literature. And you think, what on earth does Bacchus have to do with poetry? And you go through what he's the god of, and you go up to theatre, and you think, that's some sort of like literature type thing, isn't it? Of course it wasn't. Well, actually in the Roman times they probably were writing it down. And you think, okay, well that can be tied in with all this. So they are helping him. They are being active in this thing which he wants them to help, to fall in love. And then we have et and donat, that's the verb, to give. This is active, indicative, present, third person singular. He gives, and it's qui is the nominative, he who gives, me, accusative singular, me, and tibi, dative singular, to you. And then we have amor at the end of the sentence, which is the nominative singular. So, and amor, or love, we are talking about Cupid here, who gives me to you. I'll repeat those 2 lines. But Phoebus and his 9 companions and the inventor of the vine are active in this, and love, who gives me to you. Et nulli cassura fides, sine crimine mores nudaque simplicitas purpuresque pudor. So et is and. We don't seem to have a verb in this, and that's because he's just listing off some qualities. So we'll try and find the nominatives. Fides could be nominative singular, and this is feminine, and that's why we have cassura in the feminine, because this is an active future participle, which you can tell from the in, and this is also nominative singular. So loyalty, and we can translate that as like about to yield. It's a bit clunky. About to yield, nulli, dative, to no one. Or we can put it into nice English and say, my loyalty which will yield to no one. Make it into a little clause. Sine crimine mores, my behaviour, that's nominative singular. No, it's not. That's nominative plural, isn't it? Because it comes from mos. Yeah, nominative plural. Don't know why I've put singular in my notes. My behaviours, but he's talking about like the things he does, his behaviours, his customs, his habits. Sine crimine. Crimine is ablative singular because sine takes an ablative after it. So without guilt. So he's saying he has like guiltless behaviour. Sure, Ovid. We totally believe this. Nudaque simplicitas. These are both nominative singulars. They go together. My bare sincerity. And purpuresque pudor. That sounds a bit odd. Well, not odd. It's a bit funny, isn't it? All the p coming out of it. And Ovid's trying to make this a bit of a laugh. And I put blushing here. But technically it means purple. And it means purple. I mean, it means blushing because your face supposedly turns purple when you blush. I would think more red, but the Romans can do what the Romans do. So my blushing modesty. These are both nominative singular as well. So these like qualities are listed because they are also like in this part, being active. Just erased it. Being active in this thing. So we're saying Phoebus, the 9 companions, the inventor of the vine, love, his loyalty, which yields to no one, his behaviour without guilt, his bare sincerity, and his blushing modesty, all are active in this, you know. So effectively just read out the last 2 lines, so I trust you know it. I'm going to remember this time to read out the whole translation at the end, because I didn't last time. So let's carry on. I think we can finish this today. There's just one more page. Non mihi mille placent, non sum desultor amores. Placent. Ugh. I feel like I can't speak. Placent, from placo, to be pleasing. And this is active, indicative, present, 3rd person singular. So it, that's not singular, that's plural. What was I on when I was writing my notes? So they are pleasing. Because otherwise it would be plaquette. What are pleasing? Mille, 1,000. Non-placent are not pleasing. Mihi, dative, to me. 1,000 what? So we're going to have to imply here. Puelli. 1,000 girls are not pleasing to me. He's saying, you, Corinna, who is the girl that he's pining for, you're the only girl for me. I don't care about these 1,000 other ones. Sum. That's active, indicative, present, 1st person singular. We've got another I, sum instead of we. I, non, I am not. And then after sum, after a verb to be, we'll have another nominative, and that's desultor. And then we have Amores, which is genitive, singular. So a leaper of love. And desultor were people who would jump from the back of one horse to another whilst the horses were like running at full speed. So it's sort of like, you know, the sort of thing you'd see in a circus. So along with this and his purpuresque pudor, you think he's not being very sincere, is he? He's trying to sort of take the piss out of it. Pretend that he's ever so faithful when he's really not. Tu mihi siqua fides, cura perennis eris. So we have eris right at the end. That's active, indicative, future, 2nd person singular. You will be. And we have 2 right at the start, which will be the nominative. You could sort of emphasise that it's specifically her, just Corinna, will be mihi, that's dative, to me. Cura perennis, they're nominatives because they are after the verb to be. You will be, to me, an everlasting care. How lovely. He's going to care about her forever. Siqua fides. Fides is nominative singular. If any faithfulness. And we can understand that there's an est here. If there is any faithfulness. So like if there's any faithfulness in the world, You will be in everlasting care for me. How lovely. Do we believe Ovid, guys? Do we think he's going to stay with her? Not that she probably existed. Tecum quos dederint annos mihi filas sororum, vivere contingat teque dolente mori. You just start speaking slower. Let's look for a verb, and we have dederint and we have contingat. And we're going to go for contingat first because we see there's a quos here. A little relative clause. So we're just going to put that to the side for now and go for contingat. So this is active, indicative, no. This is active subjunctive, present, third person singular from contingo. And this is actually, I'll go to a different colour for this. And need to, there we go. That is way too big. This is an optative, if my pen will work again. Selected stuff again. There we go. An optative subjunctive. Optative, however you want to pronounce it. To be honest, I was surprised to see this because I was doing Greek and then I saw this and I was like, whoa, optative, because there's like a whole thing for optative in Greek. Yeah, so an optative subjunctive expresses a wish. So we're saying like, may it happen, let it happen. And what does he want to happen? Vivere, to live. That is an infinitive, an active present infinitive. May it happen. And then we can sort of take the mihi here, which is dative, singular. May it happen to me that. May it happen to me, vivere, to live. And then we have tecum up here with you. And then the annos here has also been attracted into the relative clause. So that should go out there. And it's accusative plural. And accusative is duration of time. So during the years, quos, another accusative plural, which dederint, this is active, subjunctive, perfect, third person plural, they gave. And who gave? Phila, the threads from philum, that's nominative plural, the threads sororum of the sisters, genitive plural, and the sisters are the fates, and they, I'm going to remember this wrong probably, but they measure out the thread, spin the thread, measure out the thread, and then cut it, and that's like how the life goes. Once your thread is cut, you die. So may it happen that for me, may it happen to me to live with you for the year, during the years which the threads of the sisters have given, and then another mihi to me. Teque, and we do the contingat again, may it happen for me. Mori, from moro, that's deponent. So it's a deponent verb, like I said, present infinitive. To die, te dolente. Dolente is from doleo, and this is the present active participle. If you can even read my writing. There we go. And it's ablative. My throat today. Ablative singular. Dolens. It's a nominative of the present participle. So may it happen for me to die with you grieving. The whole sentence is, may it happen for me to live with you for the years which the threads of the sisters have given me, and to die with you grieving. Tem hi materiam felicem in carmina praebe provenient causa carmina digna sua. Go to the verb praebe. This is another imperative, a present active imperative, offer. We need an accusative for this, and we have te here, offer you. And for here we're going to sort of say yourself. And we also have more accusatives. Materiam felicem, these are both accusative singulars. Fortunate material, lucky material. So we're going to say, offer yourself as fortunate material. And then mihi, to me. Offer yourself to me as fortunate material in carmina. This will be an ablative singular. No, it's not. It is, carmina, from Carmen. It's third declension. And it's neuter. So that is not ablative, it's accusative plural. For my poetry, so it's accusative of purpose. So offer yourself as, to me, as lucky material for my poetry. Provenient, right at the beginning. They will come forth. Active, indicative, future, third person singular. He is certainly emphasising this verb at the beginning of the sentence. What will come forth? Carmina, poetry, nominative plural, or poems. Poetry, digna, can go with that, nominative plural. Worthy, and then digna takes an ablative, and then sua causa can both be ablative singular. Worthy of its own inspiration will come forth. And then we have some lines, 4 lines here, of mythical references. And it's a bit ironic, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Carmina nomen habent exterita cornibus eo, et quam fluminea lucid adulter ave. So we're going to start with carmine. I know, shocking. And this is an ablative singular. So by poetry is an ablative of cause. So we're saying through poetry. And then we'll go to the verb after that. Habent. Habeo. We should all know this, unless you're just starting out. This is active, indicative, present, third person plural. They have. Who have? Io. And because like I said, this is many mythical women referenced here, we're saying all of these people have nomen. This can be accusative singular. Or maybe it can't be because my pen's not even writing anymore. Nice. Have a name. So by poetry, these people have a name. And then which people? Io is the nominative, singular. Exterita can go with that as a perfect passive participle from exterio. Having been frightened, cornibus, this is an ablative, plural, by her horns. She was frightened by her horns because Jupiter came and assaulted her, and when he didn't want Juno to find her, he turned her into a cow. Lovely, isn't it? And then we have lucet as the verb from ludo. That can also mean to play. Active, indicative, perfect, third person singular. someone deceived, the adulterer deceived, nominative singular. So the adulterer deceived, and we have quam, which is the accusative singular. So whom, her, she, whom the adulterer deceived. These are ablative singulars with a river bird. And he's meaning a river bird is what, a swan, I believe? Yes. And this is talking about Leda, who was impregnated by Jupiter as a swan. I know, I told you these were a bit ironic references. Yeah, river bird, swan. Quaeque super pontum simulato vecta in juvenco virginea tenuit cornua vara manu. And quae, no, don't start with quae, start with tenuit down here, which is active, indicative, perfect, third person singular. She held. What did she hold? She held a cornua vara. These are accusative plurals. Curved horns. Virginea manu, with her virgin hand. Ablative singulars. And then we have the first line. We think, where does that fit in? And quae is nominative. She who, like we had with the quam, although that was accusative. And then we have vector, that can be nominative singular, having been carried. Perfect passive participle of verho. Super pontum, pontum is accusative singular because of super, over the sea. Simulato juvenco, ablative singular, on a pretend bull, by a pretend bull. And this is talking about Europa, who got on the back of a bull, but the bull turned out to be Jupiter in disguise and he rode off with her. So I'll do those 4 lines. By poetry, Io has a name, having been frightened by her horns, and she whom the adulterer deceived as a river bird, as a swan, and she who, having been carried over the sea by a pretend bull, held the curved horns with her virgin hand. It's just sort of ironic, you know. Compare it, saying all of these people have a name, and you will too, Corinna, and all the women you list are people who have just been carried off or raped by Zeus. It's not great, is it? Nos quoque per totum pariter cantibima orbem junctaque semper erunt nomina nostra tuis. Cantibima, that is the verb. It's passive, indicative, future, first person plural. We will be sung about. We have nos here, and we're talking about Ovid and Corinna here. It's not the royal we. So we quoque, we too will be sung about, pariter, equally, per totum orbem, accusative singular, throughout the whole world. Junctaque, que is and. Then we have erunt as the verb, active, indicative, future, third person, plural. They will be. What will be? Nomina nostra, then nominative plurals. Our names, but this part we're actually talking about Ovid because we've got a tuis here. So my name is quite confusing. Will be, semper, always, juncta, from jungo, joined together, if it will let me write. Next time I need to change my pen battery, like real. And it's R. It's got an R here because it's talking about these. Because it's neuter. It's a perfect passive participle of younger, if I haven't already said that. Will always be having been joined together. Tuis, dative, singular, to yours. So our names will always be joined together with yours. My name will always be joined to yours. So names will always be said together. And that is Amores 1.3. And I will read you the whole translation of that now. I pray for justice. Let the girl who has recently made me her prey either love me or give me reasons why I should always love her. Ah, I have wanted too much. Let her only endure to be loved. Venus will have heard my many prayers. Accept a man who will serve you diligently through the long years. Accept a man who has known how to love with absolute loyalty. If great names of ancestors do not recommend me, if the founder of my family, or the author of my bloodline, is a knight or of equestrian rank, and my land is not renewed by countless ploughs, and each of my thrifty parents control their spending, but Phoebus and his 9 companions and the inventor of the vine are on my side, or they are active in this, and love, who gives you to me, and my loyalty, which will yield to no one, and my guiltless behaviour, and my bare sincerity, and my blushing modesty. 1,000 girls are not pleasing to me. I am not a leaper of love. You will be, for me, an everlasting care if there is any faithfulness. May it happen that I live with you for the years which the threads of the sisters have given to me, and that I die with you grieving. Offer yourself to me as a fortunate material for my poetry. Poems worthy of their own inspiration will come forth. By poetry, Io, terrified by her horns, has a name, and she whom the adulterer deceived as a river bird or as a swan, and she who, having been carried by a pretend bull over the sea, held the curved horns in her virgin hand. We too will be sung equally throughout the whole world, and my name will always be joined to yours. There you go. Ovid's Amores 1.3. One thing I don't think I mentioned though about this part was that he only names Io. He's saying that all of these people have been given a name. These 3 women have been given a name through poetry, but he only names Io. So that's sort of ironic as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video and it was useful for you, and if it was, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I will put the commentaries I used, some translations and where I found the Latin in the description. Thank you for watching.